Some agents talk about success, others chase it, but only a few are willing to climb for it. Welcome to The Climb, the podcast built for real estate agents who refuse to stay stuck. Hosted by Nathan Bush, this show is more than just strategies and market updates. It's about the mindset, the moves, and the momentum that turns struggling agents into top producers. Every episode, we bring you real conversations with industry leaders, breakthrough tactics, tips, and tools you can actually use, and the unfiltered truth about what it takes to build a thriving real estate business. No fluff, no gimmicks, just the hard-earned insights from those who've made the climb and those climbing with you. If you're serious about leveling up, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another agent who's ready to step up. The climb is tough, but you don't have to do it alone. Now, let's get to work.
What is up, guys? Hey there, and welcome to The Climb. Whether you're a brand new real estate agent or a seasoned pro looking to break through to top producer status, you're in the right place. This podcast is all about helping you navigate the challenges, sharpen your skills, and build a thriving real estate business. Today's episode, we're diving into how a non-traditional real estate agent can earn multiple six figures. And we're going to cover ways for agents to maximize their time and revenue and build life on their terms, not everyone else's. So stick around because you won't want to miss this. Before we jump in, guys, you got to make sure you join our Facebook group. This is where we're keeping the conversation going. And we're also going to share valuable tips, connect with other growth-minded agents just like you. So if you find today's episodes useful, if you find the show useful and helpful, share it and follow the show and help other agents along the way. The simplest way for us to get to know each other, though, is filling out a Connect card. Visit www.theclimbnetwork.com. That's theclimbnetwork.com to complete yours today. And when you do, you'll get access to more resources to fuel your success. Plus, you'll get that invite to the Facebook group where you can connect with other top producing agents. All right, let's go to work, guys. Again, I appreciate you guys joining me for the first time on The Climb. This is episode number 1, and I have got an amazing guest lined up for you. I want to share with you, though, some things that I have found online in the Facebook group already. So when we talk about the Facebook group being a place where you guys can network, Josh Voiles, Jamie Frazier, both of them produce some amazing introductions, and I'd like you guys to be able to meet them first right on the show. Josh Voiles said this. He said, hello, Nathan. I'm with Keller Williams in St. Louis. We do a lot of residential property, multifamily, land, and small commercial buildings. I'm not sure about my superpower, but we work hard to make sure that we take great care of clients and provide communication all along the way. And stand out to do what we say we will do. I'm also looking to learn from others and share what I've learned along the way so far. So if you don't know Josh, you probably should get to know Josh. And also Jamie Frazier, who shared in the group. Thank you. She's with Magnolia Real Estate in St. Louis, and she's always done residential sales, but her clients are mostly SOI, family, and friends. So if there's referrals, she turns them into friends along the way. She loves this relationship business, and her superpower is contract to close process. She's been a transaction coordinator for almost 7 years now. I think she recently sold her business that was posted in the Facebook group, or she shared that on a Facebook thing I saw. Anyways, because I'm connected, and that's what this show is all about. So thank you, Jamie, for sharing with the group who you are. And Josh, thank you for sharing who you are with the Facebook group. It's always appreciated. The other thing is when you go to theclimbnetwork.com, there is some free resources, some free gifts that we're going to give you up on the screen. If you're following us online and you're watching the show, if you're watching and listening to the show, there is a Agent Success Blueprint, a 90-day growth challenge that I put together for you, the Climb Agent Success Assessment, and then I also put together the ultimate follow-up script for real estate agents. So these are the types of things that you're going to get when you join the Climb. And then lastly, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you are watching the show or listening to the show on replay, go back in the Facebook group. There is a poll there, and that poll is telling me what you guys want to hear the most about. So if you could take a second, go complete that poll, that would be helpful for me to make sure that I'm providing the maximum amount of value for you. All right, the screen just went black because I'm learning to use StreamYard all over again for the new show and the new style. All right, I'm back. We're here. Okay, so I want to introduce our guest. I won't waste any more time. Our guest is David Ounanian. He's a licensed broker, a 4-time Icon award-winning agent, real estate investor, author, speaker from St. Louis, Missouri. David's breakthrough came as he merged the typical roles of financial advisor and real estate agent, establishing the trademark service of a real estate investment advisor. Today, David passionately helps agents create freedom through real estate. Welcome to the show, David.
Hey, thanks for having me, Nathan. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, it's incredible. We were talking just a little bit before the show as we connected, and I was telling you I couldn't think of a better guest to have on the first episode of The Climb. Well respected in the community. A lot of people knows you in St. Louis about the great work that you're doing, and just honored to have you as a first-time guest on the show and my first guest on the show.
Likewise, I'm honored to be your first guest as well. Thank you for thinking of me.
So for those of you that don't know you, the same way that I've come to learn about you and your career, why don't you give everybody kind of a little background on who David O is and what you do in St. Louis?
Yeah, I'll give you a quick origin story. So I was raised like most people in a middle-class home and was told, to go get a college degree and go get a job. And so that's kind of what the advice that I followed. Typical societal norms told me to go that path, and got a degree in undergrad in computer science and went into corporate IT as a software engineer. And then, what's next once you get your corporate job is everybody's telling you that you've got to climb the corporate ladder, right? And that's the path to success and making more money and wealth and all of that stuff. So I started doing that. I started getting some promotions. I went back to school, night school, to get my MBA, thinking all this stuff was going to help me progress in my career. I finally got to the point like 10 years into this where I just hit the wall. I was so burned out working a corporate job. I just got my latest promotion, and my boss had called me into the office and said, "Hey, Dave, I notice you're only working 40 hours a week." And I'm thinking, yeah, is there a problem with that? And he's like, "Well, I expect your management now, and I expect my managers to work 50 to 60 hours a week." And I was just crushed. I went back to my desk and I'm like, I just had my first kid. I had a 1-year-old at home. Like, time was like super valuable to me. And that was the point at which I was like, I got to look for a different career, because this is not working. This is not the place I want to be for the next 30 years. So a lot of searching online. I had happened to have my real estate license on the side because I was kind of helping friends and family move. I was selling a couple houses a year. Never in a million years thought I was going to be full-time selling real estate. That seemed like way too risky to be dependent on a commission-based income at the time. But I had one of my friends from college went out and decided that he wanted an offer on an investment property here in St. Louis. And it was priced at like $37,000. And I told him it was absolutely crazy. You're going to lose all your money. You're going to get calls at 2 a.m. to change toilets and plumbing issues and all this stuff. Like, this is a terrible idea. He didn't heed my advice. He went ahead and bought it. He put like $10,000 into this thing to get it rent ready. And then next thing I know, an appraiser's out there appraising the property for like $85,000-$90,000. He's refinanced it, got all of his money back out. He's got tenants who are field hockey players at UMSL University that's nearby, and their parents mailed my buddy a check for the full year of rent up front. And so I'm like watching all this unfold, and I'm just thinking, this is insane. Like, this guy just made all this cash flow in real estate. And so that was really at the point where I'm like, I've got to go that direction. That looks like it works. I saw somebody that it worked for, and just started pouring all my resources into learning real estate investing and how I could duplicate what my friend did. And that's kind of where the journey started.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. For me, it was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. back in the day. I was young and in high school, and I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then after that, I had this weird thing that happened where I would walk downtown when my dad would take me to a baseball game or whatever. And I don't know why I felt like this, but I would think, oh, I own this building. Like in my head, like I know I didn't. I know it wasn't a real reality, but in my head as a kid, I'm thinking, oh, I could own that building or this building after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's always stuck with me, is that there is a possibility that is endless when you get your mind right.
Absolutely.
And so there's a lot of agents out there right now, David, who they're struggling. They're not making ends meet. They are the part-time agent and they're not progressing in their real estate career. I mean, dig into the early struggles that you had as a real estate agent, and how did you overcome them in this transition?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to just reiterate how the agents are struggling right now. Some of the numbers are just staggering. So, for the first time in 12 years, last year we saw the number of licensed agents decline. So, agents are going out of business. And then Inman News just came out the other day and said that 71% of real estate agents did not do a single transaction last year. I don't know where they got that number, but that just blows me away. That number could be anywhere close to that. Even if they were 30% off, I would be completely shocked, right?
Wow.
But yeah, that's what's going on out there. There's a lot of agents that are struggling, and I think the state of the traditional real estate agent is very dire right now. And I think that there's a very good chance that the traditional real estate agent is not going to be around in the next 5 to 10 years. So when I started this process of investing, naturally other people were looking to me as I was having success with my investments in real estate. People were looking to me to help them invest. And because I had a real estate license, I used that as a tool I would help them invest, and I would earn a commission in exchange for doing so. And so that's kind of how my agent career started taking off, as I saw the opportunity in helping investors and not playing around with trying to call my sphere of influence and bug all my friends and family every couple of weeks saying, hey, remember, I'm Dave. I'm a real estate agent. If you ever need to move, or if you ever need to know the value of your house, call me. Instead of being that person, I established myself as an expert in the investment game, and people started reaching out to me. People started contacting me. People started becoming attracted to me, instead of me having to go out and pry up all these cold leads and try to sell people homes.
Yeah. So let's say that an agent wants to follow a similar path and they want to become an expert in investment real estate. What is the first couple of steps that you would recommend that somebody takes, David, so that they can become that go-to expert that other people are seeking out?
Yeah, great question. I mean, if they've never had an investment experience before, that's what we assume when you come into our world and we train you on this stuff and show you this. We've got, just to plug the book real quick, if you go to freeagentbook.com, this will outline the exact process of becoming investor friendly. That's what I'll talk from here on this podcast. But basically, if you know nothing about real estate, first we need to get you acclimated to what does the market look like in the market that you're in. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Where are people investing? What is a desirable investment deal look like in your area? Whether it's a fix and flip, a buy and hold, a short-term rental, a mid-term rental. What are the different types of assets that you can help people acquire that are going to be profitable for them? So kind of learning all that stuff, which shouldn't take very long. And then the next thing is jumping right into prospecting for potential investors to work with, and then turning those investors into clients of yours, and obviously serving them with the investment properties.
Now, clearly, guys in the audience, if you're struggling to find prospects, and you just heard him say that he's an expert at investor real estate and that he has an entire book where he wrote prospects, you're going to want me to dive into this conversation about prospects. I know I've been podcasting for a while, even though this is my first real estate agent show. Okay, I know what you want to hear, and we'll get into that. I promise you we will talk about prospecting. I want you to get an understanding, though, first from David O, because I heard David speak at Gateway to Freedom. He did a phenomenal job on the Platinum Group investors that were there that he was speaking to. And he was talking about this concept of maximizing his time is a real estate agent. And so before you get into the conversation and fill your whole pipeline and fill up your whole day and all you're doing is working and prospecting, we were also having a conversation before the show about family and how important it is and maximizing things around. David, you had this unique concept. If you wouldn't mind, just take a couple of seconds here and let's talk about how do you structure a day so that you can be the most productive when you are prospecting, how do you know when you should be making those phone calls or doing outreach or whatever it is that you're going to do and teach everybody here?
Yeah, great question. And I was kind of blessed to have the right coaching and mentors that taught me that it's not about making the most money. It's actually about, spending time in the right places and really having time freedom is what most of us are craving. Whether that's time with your loved ones, your family, time with stuff that you want to do for your hobbies and stuff like that. It's usually not, you don't usually want to be working 80, 90 hours a week trying to prospect and make the most money. At the
Might
end
as
of
well have a corporate management job then.
Exactly. And that was the whole reason why I got out of corporate. I wanted to work like 20 hours a week. And that's what I've been able to maintain today with systems and processes in my business and leveraging other people that I brought onto my team and stuff like that to be able to grow a business, but not suck up all my time. So yeah, what I spoke about at that event was basically building out a weekly calendar. So I time block my time every single week, and I'm kind of a creature of habit, so I like to have the same week every week. And so we talked about putting priorities in your life on your different values based on what are your top values in your life. And for me, my number one value is faith. And so what I would do is on my calendar, I'm going to put my faith activities on the calendar first. That way there's nothing from work, nothing from social activities are going to impede on those time blocks. So that for me, it looks like going to church on Sunday. I'm in 3 different Bible studies at the moment and read my Bible and praying every single morning. My second top value is family, spending time with my loved ones. So that includes my wife and my kids. And so I want to have date night once a week to spend time with her outside of family time. And then I want to spend time with my kids each and every day, whether that's in the morning before they go to school or in the evening doing dinner together and stuff like that. So all of that goes on the calendar and it's time blocked so that, I know from, for instance, 4:00 today to 9 p.m., that is family time blocked out for me. So even though my phone is ringing, even though people are texting me with things that are going on in the business and stuff like that, I know that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. or whatever is back to my working block and I can respond to all those messages. And most of the things in my business are not some urgent emergency thing that has to be handled on nights and weekends. But sometimes it is, and I have systems in place to alert me of that, but very rarely is that going to impede on my intentional week that I've set up. And so I've got family. The other one is fitness. So I want to make sure I exercise and stay healthy. And then I've got just fun. So like, what do I do for fun? I go out with friends once a week. I play pickleball a few times a week. So I've got all those things on my calendar. And then comes work. It's actually like 5th down on the list. And so where on my calendar now do I fit in my working blocks? And for me, it's about 20 to 25 hours of the week I'll fit in around all of those other activities that I've built out my calendar with first.
Gosh, David, if I'm a new agent, I just heard you say that, and I'm a new agent. I'm just getting started. I just got my real estate license. I'm ready to get after it. And I heard you say that you put all these things in place and the work comes last, but I have no money, right? I'm broke.
Right.
What got you to where you're at versus how do we get there? How do you structure a life that works like this
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yep.
Clearly, there's a transition that God made here along the way, or you really have figured out the holy grail to prospecting that every agent wants to know.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask you about that because then we got to get real answers from everybody on how to make the money. So how did you get to
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, the exact process that I just described, I would set that up as your ideal week. Don't put any filters on that at this point in time. Don't say, well, because I don't have any money, I need to work 80 hours a week so that I can start building money, start making money, and then eventually do that. You do not want to build your business that way. So set up your ideal week the way that you would exactly have it if money was no option, how many hours you'd be working, what you'd be doing every day. And then you may find out that for a season, a short season, that you may have to work more than that until you get to a point where you've got some money in the bank, or you can bring on an employee or bring on another agent to take some things off your plate. So for me, I was a solo agent when I got started. I was the only one to be able to show the house. I was the only one to be able to write the offer. I was the only one when it went under contract to do all of the paperwork back and forth from the lender and the title company and the appraisal and the inspectors and all of that stuff. And I had to do that for a season. And so in that season, I didn't work 20 hours a week, but I always knew where I wanted to end up. And because of that, I put pieces in place as my business grew to where, okay, I'm going to get a transaction coordinator. That's going to eliminate like 20 hours of passing around paperwork for the next 30 days to get this thing to closing. It's the best investment you'll ever make. I saw the person that you introed loves doing TC work. There's people like that out there. Hire them. They are worth every single penny. But then from there, what did I do? So then I brought on another agent to work alongside me so that instead of me having to go show a house on the middle of a weekend when I could be spending time with my kids, they can go show the house and I can share the commission with them. Yes, I'm going to make a little bit more money. And that was very difficult for me to do, was to bring on that first agent and realize that I'm probably giving up half of my commission here. You know, that was a hard pill for me to swallow when I first did it. But I'll tell you this story because it was life-changing to me when this happened. The first agent I brought on was Julie, and she wouldn't mind if I mentioned her name here, Julie Thornger, and she's still with me today. She's a phenomenal agent for us. She's become an investor. It's just been awesome to see her grow. But I first brought on Julie as an assistant that worked for me hourly, and what I noticed was it wasn't paying for itself. And so her job was about to get eliminated. And I just threw out this option that, hey, if you get your license, you can still work with me and I can send you some clients to work with and we can share in the commissions and stuff like that. And so she was bartending at the time. She was trying to get into real estate, trying to get into investing. She had just tried to purchase her first home. She was renting an apartment. She tried to purchase her first home and got denied from the mortgage company because she didn't have enough documented income. There was tips going on at the bar that weren't getting, on her tax returns. And it was very sad that she got denied that first mortgage. And so she was kind of in a hard place. And eventually she did end up buying a property, and one of our clients became a private money lender for her and stuff like that. But before we get there, I remember when I sent her my first client. So this guy his name was Alex. I said, hey, Julie, I just got this investor named Alex. He wants to invest in his real estate for the very first time. Can you connect with him, show him some properties and help him buy something? And she's like, sure. And so I handed Alex off. And at the time I had like an intro call with Alex. That was literally my only involvement at the time. I spent about 15 minutes on an intro call telling him about how we could help him as an agent invest. And he's like, yes, yeah, I want your help. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to be, I want some guidance in helping me invest successfully. And so we got him signed up, handed him off to Julie. And about 2 months later, Julie calls me up and says, hey, we just closed with Alex. Do you have anybody else I can work with? And I was like, wait, you just closed with Alex? And I was like, I had no idea anything was happening with Alex. I had spent 15 minutes with Alex. That's the only thing I had heard of. And I go to look at, I go to look at my commission statement, and it comes back and it looks like there was a $5,000 commission that was made from selling Alex a property. Julie made $2,500. I made $2,500. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing the math and I'm like, wait, I spent 15 minutes. I earned $2,500. That's like $10,000 an hour. Like that's insanity. The president of the United States does not even make $10,000 an hour. Like this, I remember running up to my wife's office at the time, beating down her door. And I was like, I just found out how to make so much money. And I was telling her the story, and it like things clicked for me that day that we can leverage in this business, and you can literally make so much more money with your time if you're doing things the right way and setting things up with systems and processes and other people. And so that's how I built out my team to where we sold 133 investment properties last year. We made over $500,000 in gross real estate commissions, and I'm working 20 hours a week, which that's not even all on the agent stuff. That's like fun stuff that I like to work on too, like writing books and doing podcasts like this. So I probably spend maybe 5 to 10 hours in that business at selling all these properties.
That's incredibly uplifting, and I hope that all of the agents that are watching the show can get to there and get to that in their business. But guys that are watching us live and on replay right now, you just heard David lay out his ideal day, his ideal week, and then told you that he started working towards that. There's nothing in life that comes free. The climb is not easy. It's not easy to get and make a bunch of money in real estate. That's fairy tale land, but it is possible. It is possible to get there. And you just heard somebody that told you the entire ins and outs of the practices that he started, the mindset that he had to go from working 60 to 70 hours a week in corporate America to now 10, 15 hours a week in the real estate business, earning top levels of commissions and being an award winner. That's an incredible journey. That's an incredible climb, David. And as we get further into the show now, I'm very excited about the opportunity to talk about prospecting, because this one client that you prospected, Alan became revenue for you. That's Alex, a real, yeah. Yep. What'd you say?
Alex. Yes.
Alex became revenue for you, right? Alex was found somehow, and you signed him up somehow, and there's a process that he went through. How did you find, where did Alex come from, or where do Alexes come from in the real estate business?
Yeah. So my business is very niche. So we are literally only working with real estate investors. So we're not like your traditional real estate agent that is a dime a dozen today, right? So just metrics here in our market, we have over 6,000 realtors in our market, Nathan. And there's only 12,000 properties that were sold last year. So that means that on average, there's about 2 properties for every realtor. It's insane. So everybody knows a realtor. Your aunt, your uncle, everybody has some realtor in their sphere that's already bugging them, that's sending them magnets to put on their fridge. It is highly competitive to just be your standard real estate agent that helps somebody buy and sell property. And so we've completely niched down to, we only want to work with investors. We specialize with working investors. We know all of the pain points that an investor is going to face because I've faced them myself as my own investor. And we built this whole business to service and account for all the problems that a new investor or an out-of-state investor or even an existing investor is going to face when they're trying to use an agent to help them buy investment real estate. So all that being said, there's a lot of different places that you can find these prospects, and it kind of depends on, how much money you want to invest in marketing, or if you're just getting started, like the best free places to go are to go to all of your real estate meetups. Like go to meetup.com, start searching for real estate real estate investing, real estate agents, like just start going to meet with people. One of my mentors, I'm very blessed to just have the right people around me that could help me on this journey. And I wasn't starting, out there blind and trying to learn without guidance. But one of my early mentors gave me this super valuable piece of advice. He said, "Hey, Dave, your first year in real estate, full time, I want you to go out there and meet 1,000 people in your market." And I was like, 1,000 people in my, that sounds insane. Like, I'm an introverted person. Like, I don't actually want to be in a room trying to meet thousands of people. But he gave me a system to use right after that. He's like, "Hey, this is going to be super easy. All you're going to do is you're going to bring your business cards to these networking events that are going on every single week all over town. You just got to find them, and you're going to meet people and you're going to exchange business cards. And every time somebody gives you their business card, you're going to ask them this one powerful question. And it's this: what is your biggest challenge or goal right now?" And then you're going to shut up and you're going to listen to what they say. And whatever they say, you're going to turn over their business card and you're going to take notes on the back of their business card. This was like a profound thing to do when I started doing this, because for one, nobody else at the networking event is asking that question. And two, there's nobody else in the world that is taking notes off of somebody's biggest goal or challenge right now. It has a very big impact on the person that you're just meeting. And it's a way that you can not only establish rapport right off the bat, but a way that you can instantly add value to the relationship. And so as people are telling me these things, I'm writing it down, I'm putting it in my CRM, and I may not have a solution for their biggest goal or challenge right there at the meeting, but maybe 3 months later, I come across a product or a referral partner or somebody or some article online that discusses this challenge that they had. And now I have something that I can bring to them that is actually the biggest thing that they're looking for right in that moment. It instantly builds relationships with people. And so that's what he taught me to do. And I didn't make it to 1,000 my first year, but I gave it a shot and I probably got over 500. And so if you go out there with a big number to shoot for and shoot for it and start building those relationships, the people that I met that year, some of those people turn out to be like my best friends today. Like some of my best contacts, some of my best friends, my current business partner I met that year doing this with. It's just like there's so much opportunity when you do that, not only to get prospects, but to get referral partners, people that, maybe it's an attorney that can send you people that are distressed that need to sell properties, or or a financial advisor that he has clients that want to diversify and start investing in real estate. There's all types of different opportunities there if you do that. So that's one free method. Today we're on social media. And so we pay for advertising on there to attract cold leads. And the beautiful thing, I don't do a ton of networking today because it is time intensive and it's usually in the evenings. And as you know, I've set up my calendar to not want to work nights and weekends. So what I have going on right now in today's market is I've got paid ads that are running. I've got cold leads that are coming into my CRM. And we use KV Core, which is really expensive if you're not at our brokerage. If you're at our brokerage, it's included in our very low tech fees. But I've got this thing all programmed out to where that when that lead comes in, they're getting text messages, they're getting emails from me automatically without me having to do anything. And all of the information that they're getting is positioning me as a top expert to be able to help them invest in real estate and to book a call on my calendar. So they have a link that they go to and they're booking a call on my calendar. And then even further than that, I'm not calling them on this call. They're calling me. So they have to check a box to confirm that they have to call me at the time of their scheduled appointment. So there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I get to see if they're really serious about showing up for their call or not. And number two, the dynamics of you calling a prospect or a cold lead that you bought, instantly somebody's defenses are up. Like in this day and age, people are getting dozens of cold callers calling their cell phone every single day. Like it's so bad that I don't even answer phone calls unless I have your number saved on my phone. My voicemail says
Agreed.
yeah. So like everybody's defenses are up. So when they're calling me, the defenses are completely down. Like you're no longer having to make this heavy lift. They're actually attracted to trying to get help from you, and they're calling you. And so now you can make a very easy pitch into how you're going to become their agent and work for them. And they sign an agreement and become your client. And most of those calls take me about 10 to 15 minutes complete. I've gotten them done as in like a pinch in like 3 minutes. So we've got a really powerful script that we use to go through that consultative close approach that we do with all of our prospects.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. So if somebody is coming to you, they're getting feedback right away that you want to work with them. They're getting emails, they're getting text messages. You're being positioned as an expert. What is one way that if somebody was setting up their CRM system that they could position themselves as an expert in investment real estate? It's got to be true, honestly. It's got to be honest. But what's one way that you position yourself as an expert?
Well, I mean, one thing is past results. So like, because we have a lot of past results, we can brag on a lot of testimonials, a lot of sold properties that made people lots of money. I mean, we've got clients that have made $100,000 in profit selling a deal that we helped them do. I mean, that's incredible, right? But not everybody's going to have that story to tell when they're first getting started. So one of the things that's really easy is just tell them what's going on in the market. So every single week or month, the market is changing. And so if you want to be the expert, then you need to be able to communicate what's actually going on. So one of the emails that we send is a monthly market snapshot. What is happening in our market right now? What level of inventory is available? Is this a seller's market, a balanced market, or a buyer's market? Give them the temperature of what's happening right now. Where are prices going? Are prices increasing? Are prices decreasing? Are days on market going up? Or days on market going down? What are the mortgage interest rates right now? Those are highly sensitive in today's market. Whether they're at 7 or 8, buyers are very sensitive if it's going up there. If it's going down to 6 or 5, you can expect everybody to come out and start buying, and it's going to be a very competitive market. So just giving people an idea of what's going on in the market is going to position yourself as an expert there. And then just I pitch our call when they schedule that call as like kind of like a jumpstart call for them. So we're going to discuss their investing goals. We're going to kind of help them get started with the process of moving forward with investing in our market.
Guys, you just got a ton of value. I've been taking notes this entire time, and my entire legal pad is full of just amazing notes for real estate agents and different ways for you guys to be able to grow your business. And so I hope you were taking notes as well as David was talking about that stuff. I want to shift gears a second, David, and ask you, because you are an expert at this, what are the common pitfalls that a real estate agent encounters, and how do they overcome them?
So by far number one, first of all, it's helpful to know, as I mentioned earlier, 71% of agents didn't do a deal last year. That's insane.
That's why I'm asking.
But worse than that, 90% of agents go out of business within 5 years. Like they don't have their license anymore. So we studied the trend on this, and it's like, what is happening? What's going on? And what we found is that when you are an agent, you essentially are owning your own business, right? We're entrepreneurs. Like we are solely responsible for the income that comes in through the door and doing all of the tasks and doing all of the expenses and stuff like that. And so for a solo agent, we found that there's like 130, 140 different things that they can do in their job, right? There's all these different tasks, whether it's ordering and designing business cards, creating social media posts, buying open house signs, doing open houses, prospecting for leads, all this stuff. But there's really only 4 activities that are revenue generating. And so if you're not doing one of these 4 activities, then you're not going to make any money, and there's going to be no money coming in to support your business. And eventually you're going to be part of the statistic of the 90% of people that don't have a license in the next 5 years because you haven't made it. So we need revenue coming in. We need commission coming in to survive. So those 4 activities are this. Number 1 is generating new leads. We have to be generating new leads. Number 2 is following up with leads. Okay. So whenever you get a new lead, I don't think I've ever seen it where the new lead just buys a property the first time you talk to them like that. I don't think that it even exists. So that's why number 2 exists, because you're going to have to follow up with these people several times before they actually buy a property with you. I think statistically it's like between 5 to 8 times is on average when a prospect decides to flip. So just keep that in mind, that follow-up's part of the revenue generating activities that you need to be doing. Number 3 is setting an appointment. So every time you're following up with a lead, and this is what we're having done automatically with the CRM. I said a lead comes in and we're sending them text messages and emails. Guess how many of those things they're getting? They're getting about a dozen over the course of the next week, right? So there's multiple touch points in different messages and different marketing angles that is trying to get them to set that appointment. So number 3 is setting appointments, right? And so setting the appointment is where you're going to be able to pitch the buyer or the seller or the investor what your business plan is for helping them achieve their goals. And so that's where you're closing clients. That's where you're closing deals, is in the appointments. And then number 4, last but not least, is just negotiating contracts. So negotiating listing contracts, buyer agency contracts, sale contracts, counter offers, inspection contracts, all that stuff. And so we've got to be doing all of those 4 things on a regular basis. That has to be in your daily routine. And if it's not, you're gonna end up not having revenue come in your business, and you're gonna fail.
Yeah. So generating leads, follow up, set an appointment, and negotiating contracts. If you're not doing that, you heard, that's where you're going to have your biggest issues. That's where the money comes from. So I guess if you were in the position where you had to start over, you're a brand new agent, what would you have done differently to get to where you're at faster?
I mean, I've never really thought about that, but I think I definitely have a TC from the start. Like all of the paperwork, once you get a property under contract, none of that is revenue generating, right? This is admin stuff that you've got to complete that's going to take hours of your time, where you could be focusing on the other 4 activities that I just mentioned and be making way more money. So pay the $395 or the $495, whatever it costs for the TC. I'm absolutely positive it's worth it. I would do that from the start. And then probably a good idea to have another agent on your team. That way you're not the only one that's responsible for servicing all the clients. Okay. Because if you're out doing showings, it's really hard to also be generating new leads or following up with leads or appointments, right? So if you can have somebody else that you're working with, another agent on your team, and kind of leverage that other person to be doing showings and writing offers and servicing your clients that you're getting, while you can continue bringing new clients into the funnel. I think those 2 things alone would be huge for not only scaling your business very, very quickly, but also protecting your time and being able to find somebody that maybe doesn't have kids and a wife at home, that you want to be home in the evenings and the night, and then they can be out servicing those clients.
I love all that. Let's take a second now and go through our quick fire rapid climb to get as much value packed in here before the end of the episode for everybody. So A couple of questions for you, and just whatever first comes to mind about them. Favorite book?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go outside. Bible is by far my favorite book, but outside of that, I have to put Rich Dad, Poor Dad in there just because of what you said. It's the whole mindset shift about money and wealth and time. And that, I mean, that was a game changer. It was a complete game changer because to society today, education today tells you to go get highly educated and go work a specialized job for somebody else. And that's just not the path to freedom.
Yeah, for sure. Morning routine.
Yep. So morning routine, get up early. Get up early and get your must things done before the rest of the world wakes up. Because when we start running businesses, I'm in the middle of the day here. Like my phone's going to be going off. There's going to be distractions. Kids are up now. They're doing stuff. If I get up in the morning and take care of things, which for me is reading the Bible, praying, and working out before anybody else is up, I don't have an excuse later in the day to say, I don't have time for that. So getting that stuff done. I also do like some of my best solo work in that morning too, in the quiet time. So with writing this book, I was able to kind of really focus in the morning without any distractions and get pen to paper and document all these processes that I'm talking to you guys about today.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So best piece of advice you ever received?
Best piece of advice I ever received. Yeah, I think it's intentionally setting a vision for your life. I mean, that was huge because so many entrepreneurs, they'll get into this thing and it's all about how many doors I own. I remember when I first became an investor, I wanted to own 1,000 doors. And it's like, why do you want to own 1,000 doors? Like that's like 1,000 problems that could go wrong. Like today, it's like, no, I just want to own like 20 paid off rentals. Like that's great. Low stress, good income. It's a nice balance of the two, but it's like intentionally setting up a vision for your life. And that weekly thing that I talked about earlier, that was the biggest piece for that. Really just putting my time and aligning it with my top values and priorities in life, and doing that exercise changed everything for me.
Yeah. How about your favorite technology tool or software that you use?
Favorite technology tool? I'd say our CRM, KV Core. I mean, there's other ones like it, but just how powerful it is where I barely log into the thing. It's doing it. People are just showing up on my calendar. Prospects are showing up on my calendar. They're calling me. I'm taking the call and I'm getting them signed up. And all I have to do is push one button in there once they sign up, and everything's automated. They get introduced to our resources. They get emails to say, hey, next step in the process is to get pre-approved or show us a proof of funds. So it has really been amazing to kind of streamline the business and automate a lot of the communications and touch points by using that CRM.
And if, David, it's been a great conversation. We're coming up right on 50 minutes here, and I want to make sure everybody's time's respected. If people want to get in contact with you, find out more about you, where should they go to find out more about you?
Yeah, I mean, you can message me on any of the platforms. I'm at Agent David O. Or if you want that book that I mentioned, go to freeagentbook.com. That'll get you started. And the book's titled Investor Friendly Agent: How to Go from Real Estate Agent to High Paid Investment Advisor. And that's a great starting point to get you going.
That's amazing. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me and the audience. And we've learned a lot of stuff from you, David. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's been a blast, Nathan. Appreciate it.
You too. All right, guys, there you have it. So just to kind of finalize and recap some of the stuff we talked about today: family, our faith, family, fitness, fun, finances, in that order. is the values that David holds, and he builds his ideal week around those things first, scheduling out his most important value all the way down to his work, because he values those things above work first. And so those go into the calendar first. A couple of other tips is that 1,000 contacts in your first year. Go out and make 1,000 contacts. You heard it right from the horse's mouth. Somebody that's doing fantastic, crushing the real estate game with the investor real estate deal. Go ahead and get 1,000 contacts. Get on their business cards, and on the back of it, write their biggest challenges you're talking to them. That way you have something to follow up with them about of real value. We talked about using social media to drive cold traffic leads and utilizing the proper CRM, the KB Core CRM that he had talked about. Sounds like a fantastic option for those that are researching, and then but might be on the bit pricey side, so you got to check that out. But if you go to work with David, obviously you can get that at a significant discount. And then lastly, we went over 4 things to generate revenue. And so these have to be built into your ideal week on the finances section: lead generation, follow-up, setting appointments, and negotiating contracts. Those all have to be built into your calendar. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money. So what a fantastic episode, David. I totally appreciate you being a part of the show, and I hope that helps you. But before I wrap up, I want to invite you to take the next steps in the Climb Guide. Go to the Climb Network and get access to exclusive resources, tools, things that we've put together for you to help you along your real estate journey. Download those resources, and they'll help you win at this real estate game. In those resources, you'll have the access to be able to join our Facebook group. But what's really cool is if you join the Facebook group and you invite others to the Facebook group, you don't have to buy my book, The Caesar Method, that I wrote. You can get a free copy of it, because if you invite the most people that are agents to that Facebook group, because I can see on the back end who you invited. If you invite the most people to that Facebook group, whether they join or not, I'm going to send you a free copy of my book. So that's really, really cool. And then if you're ready to climb higher, I'd love to hear from you. Just reach out to me from the show. You can either message in the comments and I can DM you, however you feel about there's plenty of different ways to get a hold of me online. You find me on the Facebook page, all that kind of stuff, but get a hold of me. If you reach out to me, I'd love to hear your story. So share with me your story. I want to connect. I want to learn about how you're growing in the real estate business. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, share it, and leave a review. If you leave a review, it lets the audience know who's potentially looking at the show what a good job we do. And it moves us up in the rankings. So if you like the show and found value in it, then it's really helpful if you subscribe, share, and leave a review so that more people will hear about it and I can keep producing this show for you. And then lastly, next, I want to tell you what's coming up on the Climb. So the next episode that I have is entitled Get Your Next Listing. The guest that I'm going to have on there is an amazing real estate agent. He's crushing the game. I know him from my own personal network, but he's doing a fantastic job. And the title of the show is Get Your Next Listing. So if you want to know how to get your next one, we talked about a lot of strategies today on how to structure your business and get everything set up and what you should be doing. This is going to be specific tactical things to get your next listing. So that's what the entire show is going to be about with that guest. So you're not going to want to miss that. Until then, guys, I want you to know how much I appreciate the time that you're spending with me. Stay tuned and keep pushing forward, and let's go to work. Thanks, guys.